Hello and welcome to SEO is Not That Hard. I'm your host, Ed Dawson, the founder of keywordspeopleuse.com, the place to find and organise the questions people ask online. I'm an SEO, developer, affiliate marketer and entrepreneur. I've been building and monetising websites for over 20 years and I've bought and sold a few along the way. I'm here to share with you the SEO knowledge, hints and tips I've built up over the years. Hello and welcome back to SEO is Not That Hard. It's me, Ed Dawson here, hosting as usual. And today we're going to talk about embeddings and give sort of an introduction to embeddings and what they are, because this is an area, a topic that's basically becoming more and more important in the world of SEO. So let's sort of dive in. So you might be wondering, so what exactly are embeddings? I mean, it may be a term that you've heard in the context of AI and machine learning, maybe even in the context of SEO, but it's not always clear what it means. So today, I'm going to go through and unpack it step by step and explore how you can use them to improve your SEO. So by the end of this episode, hopefully you'll have a solid understanding of what embeddings are, how they work, and how they can help you rank better in search engines. So let's start with the basics. At its core, an embedding is a way of representing data, so words, sentences, images, even users, as vectors in a multi-dimensional space. Now, that might sound complicated in a lot of jargon, so let me break it sort of down into pieces for you. So imagine, if you can, a regular 2D graph. So this is the sort you might have seen in school where you have an x-axis and a y-axis. And each point on the graph represents a pair of values like 3, 5 or 1, -2. That's, a point in a two-dimensional space. However, in reality, data is way more complex than just two numbers in most cases. So, for example, if you think about words, they aren't just defined by two characteristics. They have sort of many different aspects of context, meaning, usage frequency, and things like that. So instead of having just two axes, the x and y axes, we use many axes to represent different features of data. And this creates a multi-dimensional space. So you might have hundreds of axes to represent all the different nuances of a word or a piece of content, and each word or phrase becomes a point in this space represented by a vector, which really is just a fancy name for a list of numbers that describe where that word is located in this space. Now, the key thing to understand in this is the closer two points are in this space, so two different vectors, the closer they are, the more similar they are in meaning. So, for example, if we've got a multidimensional space, the words king and queen might be very close to each other because they share sort of many semantic features. So they're both royal titles, for example, and they're both chess pieces, for example. But on the other hand, king and car would be much further apart because a king and a car are very different. They have very different sort of aspects to what they're about. So they will be very far away in this multidimensional space. So you're now probably wondering, well, why bother, doing all this? Why bother going to representing words and context and content in multidimensional space? Well, the beauty of these embeddings is that they allow machines like Google search algorithms to understand the relationships between words and concepts far beyond simple sort of keyword matching. So in the old world of SEO, you used to focus heavily on exact keyword matches. So if someone searched for, say, the best pizza in London, you'd make sure to repeat best pizza in London several times on your page, back to the whole keyword stuffing days. And that was the core of SEO many years ago. But now search engines are much smarter, thanks partly due to embeddings. So instead of just looking for exact matches, search engines, they can now understand that top pizza places in London or where to find great pizza in the city are very similar to best pizza in London. So they don't have to be exact matches because the embeddings capture the underlying sort of meaning and words and phrases, and it places them close to each other in this multi-dimensional space. So how does this work in practice, right, for SEO? So let's say you're writing a blog post, say, about hiking boots. In the past, you'd focus on repeating that exact phrase throughout your content. Well, now, thanks to embeddings, search engines can understand that hiking shoes, footwear for hiking, and even sort of best outdoor boots for trails are related. So these different phrases, they're not sharing the exact same wording, but they'll be close together in that multidimensional space that I was trying to explain. And that's just one example. This idea of capturing meaning through relationships in multidimensional space can be used to it extends to all sorts of content. So not just words. So we can use embeddings to represent an entire document or user behavior patterns. We could compare an entire document to a search query. So we can see which document in a database or in a search engine is the most relevant, the closest in multidimensional space to a search query to determine the most relevant document to a query, for example. And this allows the search engine to deliver better, more relevant results for huge, wide range of queries. So now let's think in practical terms. How can we as SEOs or site owners start to use embeddings to our advantage? So first, we need to talk about content optimization. So embeddings allow us to move beyond simple keyword, stuffing essentially. Instead of focusing on the exact keywords, we can focus on creating content that's semantically rich. So this means covering related concept, answering user questions, and using varied language. This goes back to the whole concept of keywords people use, making sure that we cover all those answers and all those questions that people are asking around a topic to get that, that get the richness in our documents to sort of improve our embeddings. So when you do this, we naturally feed the search engine's embedding models, helping us to rank our content better for a wider variety of queries. So, for instance, say we're writing an article about the best restaurants in Rome, which might be useful to me because I'm heading there soon. You can include related terms like top places to eat, Italian cuisine in Rome, or even sort of family-friendly dining. So Google's embedding models will understand that all these phrases are related and relevant to users' queries. The key area where embeddings can help is in internal linking and site structure. So by using embeddings, you can analyze how closely related your pages are to each other beyond just keywords. And this can sort of help guide in sort of making more meaningful internal links. And it doesn't just stop there with content. We can also look at embeddings in how they can help us with personalization and user intent prediction. So imagine being able to predict what a user is likely to search for next, or which piece of content they're likely to engage with based on the semantic relationships between the pages they've already visited. So this is like a new frontier of SEO really, and embeddings are at the heart of that. So by understanding what content, your audience is finding most relevant, you can then start to tailor your future content strategies much more effectively based around the embeddings that you learn around that kind of personalization and the way your users interact with your content, because they allow you to sort of group those similar user behaviors and then sort of create that content that anticipates needs rather than just reacting to how people are searching at the moment. So we've been spending a lot of time delving into embeddings here at Keywords People Use, obviously with our new Google Search Console integration, where we can understand sites and the content on your site. We're now looking at how we can use embeddings to sort of grade content, score content, and look at how to improve content. Because obviously when you have an embedding, you've then got a vector, a number that represents how well that piece of content is performing next to other pieces of content in the context of the sort of semantic area you're operating in. And it can help on how to improve content, can help make suggestions on content areas that you're missing. It can help work out whether your content is matching well to the queries that you're trying to target. So there's loads of stuff that we think we can do with embeddings. So that's why I wanted to give this little primer today on what embeddings are, so you get that kind of core concept of, right, okay, I understand what an embedding is. It's a way of encapsulating the content and the context and the semantic meaning of any piece of content, any data, and then being able to relate and compare to other pieces of content, other pieces of data, seeing how closely matched they are in this vector space, which helps us work out these relationships in a much more specific, repeatable and algorithmic way than just making suggestions based on like the old way of doing things, the sort of, say, the more keyword stuffing kind of way, where we were just working on principles that have worked before, but there was no real maths or logic behind it that was repeatable. Whereas with embeddings, we can actually tie this up and approach it much more scientifically. So yeah, hopefully we'll see much more on this from us soon. And I hope you found that interesting, and I hope you're now much clearer on what embeddings are. They're not really that complex once you understand the basic principle. It's very elegant if you think about it, but hopefully it is now a bit clearer for you. And hope you've enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Before I go, I just wanted to let you know that if you'd like a personal demo of our tools at Keywords People Use, that you can book a free, no obligation, one-on-one video call with me, where I'll show you how we can help you level up your content by finding and answering the questions your audience actually have. You can also ask me any SEO questions you have. You just need to go to keywordspeopleuse.com/demo, where you can pick a time and date that suits you for us to catch up. Once again, that's keywordspeopleuse.com/demo, and you can also find that link in the show notes of today's episode. Hope to chat with you soon. Thanks for being a listener. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe and share. It really helps. SEO is not that hard. It's brought to you by keywordspeopleuse.com, the place to find and organise the questions people ask online. See why thousands of people use us every day. Try it today for free at keywordspeopleuse.com. To get an instant hit of more SEO tips, then find the link to download a free copy of my 101 quick SEO tips in the show notes of today's episode. If you want to get in touch, have any questions, I'd love to hear from you. I'm at Channel 5 on Twitter. You can email me at podcast@keywordspeopleuse.com. Bye for now, and see you in the next episode of SEO is Not That Hard.